How you doing, guys? Anyways, haven't been on YouTube too much of late. Been kind of in a funk, actually for the last month or so. But astrologically speaking, it's not just me, it's pretty much the entire planet. But has anybody ever noticed you're focused on a problem, you're working on a problem, you're trying to reveal issues, and you find out that that one section that you're working on is just one small part of the entire picture? I'd always done research my whole life, but always kept it in the back of my head. Most of what I knew, I put for a later date, never took it too serious until recent years. Now, it was 2006 I started studying with the JWs. By 2011, my life's experience, although they did try to topple it, my own knowledge and life's experience told me that it was a lie, that this was a criminal organization. One of the reasons I haven't been on YouTube too much of late is I wasn't a born-in JW. I wasn't fully indoctrinated. I came in at a late age, which I've covered before. So a lot of the content out there is just something that does not apply to me. So if anybody has wondered why they haven't seen me in a lot of comment sections out there, that's exactly why. Now, I'm still will give anybody any support they need as far as answering any questions. But after a while, you have to wonder, how long do you consider yourself an ex-JW? Like I said, I'd always done research my whole life. I got more sensitive to problems throughout the Obama years. Not so much because of the political climate that was going on, but because this was the era that I was a Jehovah's Witness. Now, I was primarily focused on what I was going through. Like I said, I always had my life outside the organization. By 2011, I started fading. By 2014, I was pretty much done. Had some issues getting away, and it was by accident that I came across the ex-JW community. For anybody who wonders if you punch up Jehovah's Witnesses, anyone who thinks that you'll, especially we're talking the history of the feed now, if you punch up Jehovah's Witnesses, it used to be a day where you would get their broadcast or something about Jehovah's Witnesses. Now you get the ex-JW community. For anybody who thinks it's because of the history in your device, there was a time I didn't have history in my device, and the first thing I came across was the ex-JW community. That was in 2014. That was a time I could not get enough. I finally realized I'm not the only one who knows this, because for a while it seemed like I was. I had to keep everything I knew to myself. Well, I watched the ex-JW community avidly. This past year, not so much, because I'm pretty much past it now. Like I said, the organization has damaged a lot of people. I can honestly say I am not one of them. When I left, I simply went on with my life. Now, where was I going with that? Well, anyways, the one thing I started doing 2 years ago was started uploading videos. And if it wasn't for one idiot who actually came to my place of employment and harassed me, I probably wouldn't have done these videos. But because this one jerk decided to harass me before I went to work, yeah, and I told him a long time ago, you don't mess with Vinny, because Vinny always gets the last word in. Isn't that right, Jeff? Anyways, so as time went on, I started discussing the issues with Watchtower, their child abuse problem, their money laundering, their criminal activity, and pretty much personal experiences inside the org. This past year, like I said, throughout those years, I got more sensitive to issues that were going on in the world. And this past year, I realized that child sexual abuse, money laundering, the criminal activity, the Freemason connection with Watchtower isn't just limited to Watchtower. Everybody's reality, much like Jehovah's Witnesses, is controlled by the powers that be behind the scene. The average human is spoon-fed information. Their emotions are controlled. Their information is controlled. So no, it's not just Watchtower. And I started to realize like I said, I got more sensitive to it. And I says, anything I'm saying about the Watchtower and Jehovah's Witnesses basically could be applied to society itself. It's not just Watchtower that manipulates its rank and file. It's not just religions that manipulate their people. No, it's society as a whole. When you talk about Watchtower and the whole scope of things, they're nothing more than a cum stain on the bedsheet of society. But all of our realities has been manufactured for many, many, many years. You've got to be careful with the information. If you are one that knows this, what goes on behind the scenes or suspects there is problems, be careful what you research. My suggestion is don't dig too deep into any one thing. But let's face it, everything that we see is false. All of our realities are false, much like it was at the Kingdom Hall. That's why Watchtower had to keep the rank and file dumbed down. This is why the elders, unknowingly, because they don't even know what's really going on for the most part, had to keep you dumbed down. And they kept them dumbed down. And yes, there were some elders that were very well aware of what was going on. They did know that it was a Luciferian organization. But our entire society is Luciferian. No, the Almighty does not have an organization on this planet. To say that he does is a complete lie. Let's face it, we all know what the Bible says, that the entire world is lying in the power of the wicked one. Not just some of it, all of it. But there's actually a lot of issues that I would like to touch on in the future. I've been hesitant about it. This past year, I've kind of hinted at things and I've kind of touched on it because the problem is not with Watchtower. It's with the people that pull the strings of Watchtower. It's with the people that pull the strings with all the corporations that are ruling things of right now. They're the people that pull the strings of the political theater as well. There's going to be a lot of things exposed in the next few months. Not just in Washington, D.C., but we're talking worldwide. The child trafficking that goes on this planet is a major issue. It's not just Watchtower. It's not just Washington. It's not just Hollywood. It is going on globally. And all this is going to be coming out. I get very frustrated with people that shoot information down. As a matter of fact, I've just recently had to cut somebody off in Texas who basically didn't have the brain of a bowl of soup, who knew nothing. Get out of my face. You know, all this space in this room, and this damn fly's got to fly right in my face. But basically would shoot down everything I said, not knowing a damn thing. So enough was enough. I pretty much had to block her and said, don't even contact me anymore. But I've noticed that since getting out, there was a big change from, say, 2005 till now. I'm a very social person, although I do like my alone time. I like to have conversation with people, but I've noticed people are not the same. And this has been something that's been inching up over the years. They've got everybody glued to their device. They've pretty much isolated people from each other. You go to a party, you have 10 people in the room, and they're all on their devices, ignoring each other, texting somebody who's not even there. And I'm not liking the world today, and I'm kind of glad I'm not young today. I'm kind of glad I'm not growing up today. This is not the world I grew up in. Trying to explain this to people, it's ridiculous. I have very few people that actually ask me questions. There is even fewer people that I can actually converse with about things. Like I said, for the most part, I've had to cut one person off, and I'm not afraid of cutting anybody else off that refuses to see beyond the blinders. That frustrates the ever-living hell out of me. That really ticks me off. When somebody who knows nothing, they're comfortable living in their little bubble. And it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. My time in the org got me more sensitive to it, so now I spot it more readily than I would have before. And if that's all the good that it did, so be it. But like I said, I kind of would like to get off the topic of just Watchtower, just Jehovah's Witnesses, because this is a major problem worldwide. Now, granted, when Jehovah's Witnesses come out, they don't know what to expect out in the real world. And what would suck is coming out of the organization, getting away from those vipers that's controlled their lives, to just come out and being controlled by other vipers. Watchtower, like I said, is just one small part of the problem. There are some major problems going on. Child trafficking is a very big issue, probably bigger than most of you realize. And there are a lot of issues I would like to cover in the near future. I may lose some subscribers over it, so be it. There are some really strange things going on. If anybody has noticed my last 2 uploads, those are no jokes. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much all I have for you today. But I just wanted to get that out there. I will talk to you soon. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by, and I will talk to you later.